you can have fragments of information about you out there on the web, or you can be proactive and build a mass of positive information that speaks well for you. This is where the blog comes in. This is why blogs are incredibly powerful, in addition to some other reasons, and why they will eventually replace websites. So if you are really, really serious about your marketing, you want to get a blog going, and I will show you how, and you want to get out there and start telling stories about your business, because that's telling people what's really going on. It gives them that truth, it gives them that experience, it gives them that wisdom, it gives them the kind of information they know to make the decisions that they need to make. Okay, so there's what, 75 odd people in this room. How many have been in business or worked for a company that's been in business for more than 20 years? I'd say that is almost 100%. You guys have more stories. You could not tell all of the stories you have. This is why you are so ripe for this marketing platform. This is the stuff that people want to know to make business decisions on that human level in a human-centric business environment. And it's very easy to accomplish this. You have to be authentic. You have to be willing to be transparent about everything that you do. This means that you are probably going to share information that your competitors are going to learn about that you would rather they not have that information. The downside of that is if you don't share it to keep it away from your competitors, then your customers and prospects and everybody else is not going to get that information. So this is once again one of those ways in which the social media platforms raise the bar. If you put that message out there and you share, yes, it may come to your competitors, but if you do it right, there's always a trail that comes back to you, a trail of breadcrumbs that you will leave out there with keywords that lead back to you. And it forces you to raise your own bar. It forces you to run a better business. So you can't be afraid of being authentic. You have to be authentic because people, that's what they want. Look at politics and who wins some of these races. Look at just about anything with respect to human behavior. What do we want in a relationship economy? We want to work with the people that we know and we like and we trust, and when all things are equal, that's who we are going to do business with. But here's what's even more important. Even when all things are not equal, we will still do business, will we not? With the people we know and we like and we trust. Because we know that somebody else's product may be better, but again, it's a risk-averse type of society. We don't want to take a chance. We know that you will stand behind us. I ran a contracting business for 20 years, and people should have fired me more times than I can tell you. But they gave me a chance to make it right, and we always made it right, and that's the difference. And that's what's shaping up in this human-centric type of economy that we are all moving into. And the corporate people know this. This is why they are embracing this in a big way. If you study the networks like I do, they are taking these budgets. Let's see what happens at the Super Bowl. There's going to be a lot less of this glitz and this over-the-top sort of advertising, because they are taking those millions of dollars and taking it out and planting it in the networks where they can actually get some good from it. Here's an example. Ford did something. They went out and took 100 Ford Fiestas and just gave them to some of the top bloggers for a period of time. I think it was 6 months. It said, just drive it. Tell us what you think. Blog about it. No strings. We won't tell you what to say. And they did. They got a lot of feedback from people. They got a lot of press. They got a lot of information out there that spoke favorably about Ford. And so Ford is one of these companies that's beginning to figure out how to make this thing work. The site is a monologue. It's just you talking. Blah, 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 blah. People read it. They understand it. They tune out. If you can get them engaged in a conversation through the social networks, you're going to keep them engaged. You're going to learn a lot. So monitor your brand. I'll tell you a little story about some things that I learned that will shed some light on this and give you maybe one reason why you want to do this. My brand is Jeff Korhan, which also happens to be my name. And it happens to be a name that I share with people in my family. So once in a while, I get some information that comes to me from my kids and things that are being said about them on the social networks. So recently, my daughter, Allie, was mentioned in a conversation on Facebook. Couple of interesting things about this. Number one, the conversation happened 2 years ago when she was in high school. She's in college now. And that's significant because only recently has Google been able to index that type of information, what people are calling the wisdom of friends. The wisdom of friends are those conversations that are happening on Facebook. That's where you're getting the unpolished gems, the real conversations that we would have in private as opposed to the stuff that people would tend to say more publicly. This is what the corporations are trying to tap into. What are people really saying about that automobile and how they like it and if they like it and what they would like to see next? This is the goal. This is why, if you didn't know this, Microsoft is part owner of Facebook. And they don't want Google to have that information because they have their own search engines. So this is what some of us are calling the Great Wall of Facebook. They're trying to keep Google out, but Google has been able to tap into that using anything that is linked. And how do things get links? If you put a link in, for example, to an outside website, or if you engage in any of these, I'll call them games, I don't use them, but things like Farmville, if you're familiar with that, these open up your Facebook account to all kinds of other sources. Well, that's evidently what happened in this situation. And it was a very benign conversation. It was actually very positive. And Ali's boyfriend happened to mention her name in response to the question, who would you like to see make a comment on your wall, which is where you post information in Facebook? And he mentioned Ali's name. And it was all positive. But here's what's most significant. Ali was not in this conversation. She was just mentioned. So what does this mean for the people that say, look, I don't believe in this Facebook stuff. I don't believe in this social media stuff. I'm not going to do this. I've run my business very well for 30 years without using it. I can go 10 more. If you have friends, and they're on Facebook, and we all have friends, and you get mentioned, you're now on Facebook. So the truth is, you are all on social media, whether you know it or not. Somebody is going to eventually mention your company's name. This is why you're monitoring this presence. So you can have fragments of information about you out there on the web, or you can be proactive and build a mass of positive information that speaks well for you. This is where the blog comes in. This is why blogs are incredibly powerful, in addition to some other reasons, and why they will eventually replace websites.